Hey guys, it's Mana here, and we are back with more Lucid9 Inciting Incident. I need to turn my monitor so I can actually see it. I'm going to try to finish it today. So we're going to jump back in and go from there. Alright? The boost to my mood gets me into an investigating mood, but I managed to stave it off. For now, I need to go to bed and get some rest. If I'm going to tackle this crime, I need to do it on an alert mind and a lot of sleep. I'm tossed awake by the rattle of a jackhammer just outside my window. It's still dark out and my eyes are blurry. I rub at them and squint into the street. A handful of men garbed in bright orange are huddled around some crack in the middle of the road, surrounded by 3 large trucks. Definitely construction work of some kind. I fall back into my bed and jam my pillow over my ears, but it's futile. The noise pounds straight through my wall. No matter what way I turn, it continues to throttle me from all sides. Aggravated, I leap out of bed and head to my living room, kneading at the tension between my temples. Of all times to choose construction, did it really have to be at such an ungodly hour? I retreat to the living room and lie on the sofa, but sleep avoids me. Looks like it's gone for good. Well, clearly this isn't going to work. I decide to just get up and start the day. Let's see. Breakfast. Fridge. Completely empty. Of course. To be fair, it's been a while since I've gone grocery shopping. I just did that earlier today. But that does nothing to stop my growing irritation. This day looks like it'll be fantastic. I head to the door to pull on my shoes, but a sudden alert from my phone stops me in my tracks. Need a cleaver? From Crimson Crusade at Lemon Post. I have not heard from you in some time, Mr. Troll. Is a night bothering you? Nights can often be unreasonable. No, I don't need another mysterious email. I don't need advice. I don't need any of this. Unreasonable. Wasn't there something about the case that was unreasonable? Come to think of it, maybe I should check into the independent killings again. From the sounds of it, those killings might have a substantial connection to this case. Well, I guess the internet exists for a reason. I withdraw my phone, running a search on the independent killings. Only a few options pop up. When I tap on them, they never load, only spinning in place. What the heck? I tap again, refresh, restart my browser. Nothing. My internet's fine. I check the NNN website, and it loads within a second, but nothing with the independent killings. Seriously? The last thing I need is tech problems. Today seems to be one of those days where nothing goes right. I struggle to keep breathing deeply, to stave off the irritation. My interrupted sleep, paired with the nagging twist of hunger, is starting to haze on my brain. No, I need to fight this. First, I have to buy groceries and make some breakfast. Filling my stomach will help me think clearer. Never go grocery shopping on an empty stomach, because you'll buy the whole damn store. I head to the kitchen for my book of coupons. Technically, I'm not short on money, but it never hurts to save. It's one of the few things I can do for my parents. Good on ya. Coupons all the time. I feel like a gnat just flew up my nose. Freaking bugs. But when I look through the drawer, I find a phone tucked away in the back crevice. Phone. What's a phone doing here? Curious, I pick it up, turning it over in my hands. I don't recognize it. It's the latest premium Lemonscape model, upscale even for my standards. Whoever owns this has to be a really rich kid. I try to switch the phone on, but nothing happens. Not even the empty battery indicator. Odd. Is it completely dead? I pry the back panel open to find that there's nothing where the battery should be. Weird. Looks like someone took the battery out. So now I've got this random phone, and I have no idea where it came from. Wait, isn't this the model that Misaki was talking about before? It says here that they're holding some kind of lottery drawing for weed? What? Why would they be giving that away at a drawing? I'm puzzled as well. Someone mind explaining what this weed is? WEED is just an acronym for Wall Electronic Energy Director. It's a new Lemonscape cell phone that can run on power from a wall socket, even without a battery. That's right. If this is the new model that Misaki was raving about, I can just use my universal Lemonscape charger to turn it on. I plug the phone into the wall, holding my breath as I tap the switch. The wallpaper glimmers to life, a cheery group photo of 7 or so people taken in the school courtyard. What the? These faces are the faces of Soji, Akane, Haru, and Yahiko. Huddled around them are 3 other students whom I don't recognize, but I think I've seen them around the cafeteria as well. The Happy Club. Could this be Yahiko's phone? No, he hasn't come over since last week. And even if he did, there's no reason he'd leave his phone here, much less without a battery. Then I noticed that the phone has no lock system, no number code, no fingerprint recognition, no voice command. Something feels dirty about looking through someone else's personal information, but given the circumstances, it can't really be helped. I hold my breath and slide the lock aside. A barrage of messages pops up onto the screen, all from Yahiko. Bewildered, I filter through them. Yahiko Ikari, new message. Dude, where are you? Dude, tell me right now. Haru, pick up your damn phone. I'm coming, so help me. I'm coming for you, damn it. Phone slips out of my hands and clatters onto the floor. I stare at it wordlessly, aghast. This is Haru's phone? What is Haru's phone doing in my apartment? Frantically, I check the timestamp on the messages. 2 nights ago, just an hour after the train incident. The train accident where Yahiko had allegedly been arrested and taken to the police. Was that why his words were so harsh? But then, why did I see him in District 6 that night? Haru, Yahiko, Soji, the lapse? What happened during the lapse? I stumble to the couch, my vision spinning before my eyes. What's going on? Images shift in front of my eyes and overwhelm my vision. I'm in my apartment, but I'm out of my apartment. I'm in the present, but I'm in the past. Everything smells like iron. Iron, trash, smoke. I walk forward, and the carpet against my feet turns to slime. District 6. I'm in District 6. I'm in my lapse. I stagger forward, blindly reaching for a hold on the wall. A garbage bin, anything. My shoes catch against something on the ground. I barely hold my balance. Just a few feet away lies a corpse, hewn with long, slender cuts over every inch of skin, trickles of red seeping to the ground. A dark pool sloshes over the cement, sluggishly crawling toward my shoes. I step forward, fixed with morbid fascination, and peer into the corpse's mutilated face. No, what's Haru? Why is he... I have to be mistaken. I have to. Nausea kindles in my stomach. I'm struck still with shock, my limbs frozen to the ground. Iron fills my nostrils, strangling me. I'm sorry. The body is unmoving still, rid of its suffering. I run. I sprint as fast as my legs will take me, weaving through buildings, streets, until my lungs are pleading for air. My surroundings whistle past me, twisting into macabre images of mocking beasts. Too late. Always too late. Yama! I grind to a halt, struggling to keep grip on my panic. Yahiko stands before me, his phone open and a light in his hand. He's pale in the moonlight, almost to the point of being a ghost. Yahiko? What are you doing here? We stare wordlessly at each other. Yahiko suddenly shakes his head, as if waving his thoughts away. Have you seen Haru? That depends on your definition of see. Now's probably the worst time to have a smart mouth, but I can't help myself. I have to find some cruel humor in the moment, or I'll break. I saw what's left of him. You... what? Yahiko's eyes search my face, but I'm unable to speak. He grabs my shoulders. Then what are you doing? You shouldn't even be here! I scoff at this. No. Really? Yahiko rifles his fingers through his hair agitatedly. Don't you dare tell anyone! His eyes are pleading, but the urgency in his words startles me. Why not? Look, no one can know about this! His evasiveness makes me wonder. It's almost as if he already knows that Haru died. Scared someone will find out? He falters, staring at me in disbelief. I'm trying to help you, dude. You have to get out of here. Now! His voice is flat. I don't even know who I'm talking to. This is not the same Yahiko that I've known for 2 years. Why would I... Go! Leave! The intensity of his voice shocks me into obedience. I race away, fleeing to the safety of my apartment. I don't look back. I throw the door open and race to the bathroom, sagging against the toilet as nausea roils in my stomach. Haru's injuries flash before my eyes, inducing a fit of retching. It feels like hours before my body finally seems to calm down. What did I just see? My hallucination merges with reality. I'm hunched over the sink, staring emptily down the drain. Haru, mutilated to death. Yahiko, in District 6, without any rhyme or reason. Everything pointing to me, or rather, the unaccountable alien in my body during the lapses. Gone. It's all gone. I'm too late. I can't. I shouldn't. I didn't. Mizu, Haru, Soji, I stood by. I killed them. I killed them all. Blood. When there's enough of it, the metallic scent kind of turns sweet. Almost like a rich, vibrant pool of paint. Paint that gets everywhere, that seeps into the walls and cement. Paint. Art. I've never been much of an artist. Maybe if I was... Rui would have stayed, but Rui left. No, I chased her. I killed her. Just like I have with everyone else. I'm done with all of this. Too late. When did Rui die? Because I don't remember that happening. And there goes the bell. Finally, gosh, that class would never end. Don't forget, big test tomorrow. My class groans in unison, but I don't join them. I've accepted my fate. I'll just suck at math forever. So I might as well not study. Great, now I sound like Yama. What? Who? What? Yama, big dummy, whining dummy, angsty dummy. Dummy that I haven't seen since the train accident. Yeah, I'm worried. Is that pathetic? I feel like that's pathetic. After the words he said, I shouldn't be mad at him. How could he say things like that? How could he use that kind of weak spot against me? I still trust him, I guess. I can't seem to stop trusting him. Besides, if I'm honest, I said some terrible stuff too. I'm assuming we're Rui at this point. I just want to talk it out. We haven't had an argument this bad since Miki left. Yep, it's Rui. I know everything will be fine if we can just talk it out. But why do I need to be the one to take the first step? Okay, I know it was insensitive, but doesn't Yama know that I just want what's best for him? He's never really been able to take care of himself. He's basically a big overgrown baby. A really attractive, big, overgrown baby. Because that's what everyone wants in a man. My cheeks still flush, remembering how he suddenly wrapped his arms around me and shielded my eyes from seeing Shoji. Whoa, okay, Rui, cut it out. That's just pathetic. Someone who I knew died right in front of me, and instead, I'm just thinking about my crush. Is that what they mean by coping mechanism? Anyway, Yama, baby, Yama. Or is that why Yama got so upset? Because I keep thinking that he needs to be taken care of. I don't know. It's been so long since we've been so distant. I don't even know what to do. Is this what twins feel like when they're separated? Lost? Even if they technically have other friends, like certain meddlesome roommates whose names I won't mention, but may or may not be called Akira? But anyway, being apart is like walking without shoes, or doing homework with a pen instead of a pencil. It's not seriously bad, but it's just weird, not comfortable. Maybe I should just talk to him. And from the way things are going at school, it's better not to live with regrets. But at the same time, can I really do it? Hey, Rui. A classmate pops in front of me with a cheery wave. I totally forgot her name, but I instinctively return her smile. Hey, what's up? We're heading to GFC. You game? My smile falters. GFC. What I wouldn't give for a trip to GFC with everyone there. Sorry, I think I'll pass. Aw, don't be a party pooper. Come on. I really can't, but thanks for the invite. You're not going to talk to Airi Hiraga, are you? What? Where did that come from? I don't know, you used to hang out with her. I glance at Airi's direction out the corner of my eye. Even though school's technically ended, she's calmly sitting at her seat, munching a peach. I used to just go up and talk to her because of her quietness, how she was bullied, how she was labeled. It really reminded me of Yama. I still should reach out to her. I still should defend her. But it just hurts. Is that why you were with me? Sticking around somebody you know you're better than at everything? Probably made you feel really good about yourself. It's not true. It can't be. I wouldn't have done something like that, right? Didn't some philosopher once come up with a theory that every act someone did was only done to help themselves? That there's no such thing as a real good deed? Helping elderly people is just to make yourself feel better. Giving to the homeless is just to get attention. Loving family is just to repay them for raising you. That, in the end, everything is selfish, and selfless love doesn't exist. No, that can't be possible. He must have just been a real moper. Rui? Huh? Oh, sorry. Just remember that I left my laundry in the washing machine. The lie passes smoothly from my lips. What's even scarier is that I don't feel a hint of guilt. Oh, I see. That happens to me all the time. I know, right? I should really set an alarm. Well, guess we'll get going. See ya! Have a good time! The moment she exits the room, though, I instantly drop my smile. Great, now I'm fake, just like the rest of them. You're looking a bit under the weather. What's up? Akira suddenly leaps from beneath my desk. I smile in relief. I think it's real this time. Hey, Akira. Should I ask why you're hiding under my desk? Well, I tell you, but then I have to kill you. So, drama club? I don't think so. Not today. She stares at me. Not in a judging way, but definitely searching for answers. Remember what you promised? Yeah, but he's not even at school. That's exactly why you should come. We're doing confidence exercises. That way, after club, you can go right to his apartment. What? Today? Well, no time like the present. I can't do that. Not in our current situation. The situation won't change unless you make it, Rui. It's a universal fact. The law of inertia? Precisely! An object in motion stays in motion with the same speed in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Currently, the object that is your and Yama's relationship is headed straight into a black hole where it will be crushed to tiny bits. Or create a time-space paradox that unravels the very fabric of the universe. I point dramatically to the sky. She grins in satisfaction. Exactly. So, you should try. And as soon as possible. I lower my hand. I'll try. I say this mainly to appease her. Honestly, I don't want anything to do with Yama. Not anymore. Even thinking about him hurts. Hurts to the point where I feel like I can barely breathe. Rui, it'll all be okay. You'll look back on this one day and think, ha! Well, I was as silly as a goose in the soap opera. My throat feels sore. I want to believe her. Honest. Thanks, Agent Angel. Oh, it's nothing, Agent Goose. Both Silly Goose and Mother Goose. She squeezes my shoulder comfortingly. I'm going to club, okay? Come when you can. Everyone misses you. Okay, have a great time. As always. She squeezes my shoulder again and disappears into the hallway. I should feel terrible for lying, but I can't bring myself to feel anything at all. Well, that's terrifying. I take up my bag and exit the school. It feels more like something out of habit than my own conscious choice. I actually don't come to my senses until I reach the school entrance. Why am I here? There's no reason for me to leave. I live on campus. I don't have any activities, and I'm not going to eat anywhere. Oh, right. Didi said I used to hang out here. Usually before a trip to GFC. But there isn't anyone now. Ah! I turn back to the school, but a sudden movement catches the corner of my eye. Huh? What was that? I head around the corner, but there's nothing except a trash bin. Weird. I must be tired. I think about heading back to my dorm to rest, but accurate suggestion makes me hesitant. Now that she's supplied the idea of visiting Yama today, I can't get it out of my head. Oh, my nose. It's a terrible idea. He hates me. He doesn't even want to see me. He's tired of me. Right? But who's reminding that idiot to pay his utility bills on time? Who's dragging his sorry butt through school? Who's keeping him from collapsing out of exhaustion? Ugh, Akira, why? Fine, I'll go. Just for a few seconds. Pop in, make sure that some nuclear disaster hasn't happened, pop out, easy, right? I should stop asking rhetorical questions. They tend to give me the answers I don't want. Huh? I turn around, peering down the road. Just normal people. Normal cars, normal houses. Nothing out of the ordinary. I must just be really Okay, what's going on? I try to walk closer to the street and blend into the crowd, but I swear that there's this constant shadow in the edge of my sight. No matter what way I turn, I can't seem to see it. There, again! I start to pick up the pace, weaving into more populated streets. Still there. Whatever's going on, I need to get out of here. Maybe I'm just being stupid, but I swear that shadow's actually following me. I jog back to the school, only stopping for breath when everything seems safe. No sign of that person, whoever they were. Good. What was that? It looked like they were behind the school. But that's not possible, is it? The only entrance is the gate. How did they get in without me seeing? The figure starts running straight at me. I don't even have time to think. I immediately sprint away, heading back to the main street. If anything can protect me, this crowd can. Grind to a halt somewhere in the mass of people gathered by the crosswalk. When I glance behind me, I still see the figure hanging around the edge of the buildings. I can't even get a distinct outline, but I swear that I see two glinting eyes in the shadows. And they seem to be looking right at me. I shudder, pressing myself as close to the crowd as possible. Thankfully, when the stoplight turns green, the figure doesn't follow. But It's a little strange. Why does that person seem so familiar? I come to a start with my head pounding terribly. Ugh, this must be what it's like to have a hangover. My eyes absently scan the surrounding out of habit. City, nighttime, sitting on a bench, cool breeze, and clear sky and weather that I would have enjoyed in different circumstances. Think we're Yama again. Yep. That's right. It lapsed. I draw out my phone, almost lazily, my brain still fuzzy as I check the time. 10 p.m. I've been out of it for how many hours? 14? The entire day gone. No record of where I went or what I've been doing. Check my bank records on my phone. Nothing new. Photos, notes, calendar, nothing. Pockets, doesn't look like anything stolen, at least nothing super important. No messages, no calls, whether incoming or outgoing, unless they've been deleted. Is that it? Wait. There's something in my jacket pocket. I pull out a slim phone that's cool and smooth against my palm. Right. The troublesome phone of Haru Bunya. Haru Bunya, who was brutally murdered. Haru Bunya, who had the latest phone model. Haru Bunya, who, after being murdered, somehow had his latest phone model make its way into my apartment. If this doesn't raise more than a few questions, nothing will. I don't seem to care. Why don't I seem to care? Well, I guess it's not like I'm going to get any answers by just standing around here. I should head back to my apartment, take another look, see if I missed anything, now that I'm actually thinking clearly. Almost a little too clearly, actually. But what's this? As I draw nearer to my apartment complex, I notice a line of police cars surrounding the entrance gate, lights flaring and sirens blaring. In the center of their light stands none other than Shigure Enomoto, deep in conference with the police officer I recognized from the little trip into the forest. As per usual, Shigure is practically screaming her lungs out with every word. Are you not cognizant of the impetus by which I have come? Officer Kobayashi, the Bureau has contended that this student must be incarcerated under suspicion of the recent homicides. Well, that doesn't sound good for us. So I'm aware. I harbored my own suspicions. And you contend that such an intellectually impaired ersatz for a humanoid sloth could possess the sophisticated genius necessary to orchestrate the mass murder of his associates? Wait, is she talking about me? Are they talking about me? If the police are here, if the police are talking about me, they're waiting to arrest me? You know him more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter? He was my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect? A muscle in Shigure's jaw twitches. She stuffs her hands in her pockets and mutters something I can barely catch. I am not wrong. Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is the prime suspect. What? Would she? Shigure, the legitimate detective. Does she believe that I'm the killer? She wouldn't, right? The emptiness in my chest promptly dissipates, replacing my pounding fear. If even Shigure believes it, doesn't that mean it's true? I agree. She agrees. I agree. The universe agrees. I try to step back into the shadows. My feet fumble and I clutch desperately at the wall, staring blankly before me. I'm glad we're on the same page. Now we'll submit a request to Lemonscape to track his phone. The time such an action would take is too substantial. Barring the convict conveniently shares his location with us, the process can take up to 48 hours. Then we'd better get started. He motions to several officers standing by. They gather around him in a loose circle. Wordlessly, I turn on my heels and sprint away. Where to? I can't even say. My shoes seem to move automatically, even as my mind stands still. Corner here, turn there, stop here. Yeah, that's right. I'm not just an ordinary high school student who woke up from an overlong nap. I'm a murder suspect, a guilty conscience, someone who holds the phone of the murder victim in his hand after the victim's death. Shigure, she's not the type to lie to protect someone. I should have expected that answer from her. Then if I accept it, shouldn't I be turning myself in? I grind to a halt at the subway platform, sliding into the nearest bench. Alone in a crowd. Isn't that the expression? Hanging around in public is probably the worst place for me to be. As soon as they get a hold of my picture, my face will be broadcast across the nation. Who knows? Maybe it's already posted on Patter. Maybe Misaki or Yahiko have already stumbled across it. And like Shigure, just like Shigure, turning one by one. Not a friend, not an errand boy, not an academy student, a murder convict. Why wouldn't they leave? Why wouldn't they all just go? Because you're not guilty. The voice is almost deafening in my head, resounding in every corner of my brain. I almost start at the sound. But what I want doesn't matter. The evidence says otherwise. Killings happen at night. The culprit, someone who knows the security procedures of the academy well. Someone who can fake sanity too well. What if, when I'm sleeping, my personality changes and I get up, sneak across town? You know what? That's not true. Alright, that's enough. I close my eyes and quiet my thoughts, waiting for an image to materialize. Sure enough, a familiar figure steps onto the scene. What are you doing here? I'm here to bail you out, kid. You know, last time I checked, you were supposed to be keeping me sane, not, putting voices in my head. Ha! I can only keep you sane if there's any sanity to keep, kid. Touché. You know, what you're feeling right now, that's disassociation. You're subconsciously alienating yourself from your own emotions due to anticipating future trauma. I know what disassociation is. I like it. What? It's like a painkiller. What isn't there to like? Snap out of it, kid. You can only get to the bottom of this if you dedicate yourself to it. 100%. You can't be afraid to feel. I hope you know how cheesy you sound right now. Will it make you feel? Feel what? Exasperation? You can't give up, kid. Not now. Why not? What's there to discover? That I'm a murderer? A fugitive from justice? Look, do you honestly believe that you're the murderer? Yes. Well, clearly, you actually don't. Or you wouldn't have dragged me here. You've got my time for now, kid. Make it worth it. I start a little at the accuracy of this Ryuta. You must have spent way too much time with him. So, the null hypothesis is that I'm the serial killer, and the working hypothesis is that I'm not. Good start, good start. What does that mean? It means that I just need to find evidence that I'm not the killer. But you won't settle for that, will you? You want to find out who's really behind all this. Might not even know him. You're kidding, right? There's this huge piece of evidence hanging right in front of you that... you know what? It's more fun to just watch you figure it out on your own. I find myself becoming intrigued. How much do I know that I think I don't? Enough to solve what the police, with all their resources and brain power and authority, still can't? The police are limited by a little something called bureaucracy, you know. Besides, remember your advantage? My advantage? Over the police? You have the core piece of evidence that they know nothing about. What might that be? Dashing good looks, that's a fantastic answer. Psychological profiles. I feel like that has to be it. You gave me information on students' psychological problems. Would they know that in so much depth? Why wouldn't they? You think they wouldn't have interrogated me for those profiles? Shit. Well, if you put it that way. Get good, kid. Working on it. Haru's phone. I have Haru's phone right here with me because it was in my apartment. Bingo. The police don't have his phone in their physical possession. Not like you. They don't have the same hints. Now, to be fair, they were buzzing around your apartment like vultures around a cadaver. So something definitely attracted their suspicion. But it's not like anyone else was at Haru's murder besides you and the killer. At least, no one who witnessed it firsthand. Not only that, but the police didn't come to my apartment until just today. I found his phone, just tucked away in my apartment. It had to have gotten there somehow. So whoever put the phone in my apartment knows the code, since there were no signs of a break-in. And, well, you're basically saying that the killer is someone close to me because they can access my apartment. Yes, and? You don't think that it could be... Oh, I don't know. Me? Oh, really? Then how did you lure the victims out even though you weren't close to them? Or why didn't you remember taking the phone from Haru? Or removing its battery? Or putting it in your drawer? The odds of probability remains that you would have remembered at least one of those events. Even so. We are not seriously entertaining this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde play, kid. You know your own medical reports. The lapses are a problem with your memory, not your behavior. It could have changed since then. Do you even know how sad it is that you're losing an argument with yourself? Just move on, kid. We've only got so much time. Even I have to admit that it's an unlikely scenario. Right, so then what? So, assuming that you're not the reason why Haru's phone is in your apartment, how did it get there? Well, someone else had to put it there. Good. Who and why? The killer, to frame me. That would have been the only other person with access to Haru's phone before the police arrived, and the police wouldn't have planted the phone in my apartment. Hey, now we're getting somewhere. Even if you found the phone, the killer wanted to make certain that you wouldn't know what it was for. Why did that fail? What? Well, you found out that it was Haru's phone because you turned it on. That was clearly not what the killer's plan was not within the killer's plan. So he's saying the killer didn't know about the wall charging feature. The killer might have taken out the battery, but he didn't know that I could power the phone just by plugging it into the wall charger. Which means he knows about some technology, but not all. He knew enough to take out the battery, but not enough for the latest features. Good going. You might actually solve this for real. See, you already know one thing about the killer that the police don't. Hooray, let's throw a party. Suck it up, kid. There's another weird thing about Haru's case that you need to remember. Happen to know what it is? Location of death? He was killed in an alley in District 6, not in the forest. Good. And? It's a place with too many potential witnesses around. Even though the forest has police on patrol, it's not like they can secure a large portion of it, much less the entire forest. He probably knows the forest like the back of his hand. Could have easily snuck around them. A sad truth, but good. Although it would have been risky to take a screaming victim to an area swarming with personnel. Would the forest have been swarming with personnel 2 days ago? Well, no, they would have been at the train station, where we are currently, because the day Soji died was the same night that Haru died. So, no. The police can't be everywhere at once. Oh, that day was also the day Soji Hasegawa's death, right on the subway tracks. Then I can't imagine that the group at the forest would be anything more than a skeleton crew. Well, technically those would be two entirely different divisions. One's with violent crimes, the other is probably with civil affairs or something. Usually yes, but it might have been reported as a murder. Yahiko was arrested and interrogated for it. Did you see how easily he walked out of it? Must have been a witness interrogation, not as a suspect. Well, it's either that or his parents were influential enough to... Okay, we're getting off topic here. Let's just settle it like this. It's likely that it was handled by the Violent Crimes Division because it involved the death of another academy student in the wake of multiple student disappearances. Furthermore, there were 3 witnesses at the scene. You, Yahiko, and Rui. And all of you are academy students. Happy? Why didn't I think of that? You just did. So, why does that matter? The forest was still a fairly viable option, and at the very least, it would be away from overly inquisitive citizens. Then why was Haru still murdered in District 6? I guess it'd mean that the killer wasn't entirely in charge of the circumstances. Things didn't happen according to plan. So then the question we must ask is this. Why and how was Haru murdered? I can't answer all that. You're killing me over here, kid. Fine, I'll rephrase it. Remember how every victim previously logged for the curfew before they disappeared? Yeah. But Haru didn't. He was away from school even before curfew tolled. See something weird? Besides the obvious break in pattern. Holy smokes, kid. The pattern is odd. Why would the killer kidnap students after curfew? Let's say I'm your everyday Joe. Well, your everyday psychopathic Joe. I need to kill a couple of people here and there, and for reasons unknown, it has to be a bunch of kids at this super uptight private school. When would I choose to strike? After curfew? Tell me why that's an obvious disadvantage. Ignoring the obvious security problems, it would take place in a hard-to-see dark campus, limit the suspect pool, delay sleeping patterns. Take place in a hard-to-see dark campus. They said something way earlier in the game about a trash chute that leads to the outside. What if... Well, no, because we got to see the killer's mind as he was killing someone, so he killed them in the forest. I don't know. Limit the suspect pool? I don't know. Because security locks down the school after curfew, only a few people can be out and about. The suspects would be limited to students or maintenance staff like the janitor or security team. Good. Hardly ideal circumstances for a killer. So pretty safe to presume that he wouldn't act after curfew unless he absolutely needed to. Which means that Haru Bunya missing curfew was his own choice. Because if the killer kidnapped him before curfew, then why didn't he do so with the other students? Unless this time was an exception. Hey, everything can be an exception. You'll never get a working theory that way. Now, let's think about this. Haru skips curfew while the killer is confined. Night falls. Unlike the other victims, Haru is out of school, but still ends up being killed. Probably thought that he would be safer if he wasn't confined to curfew. Oh no, you don't think that. You think he went to look for the killer. There's no proof of that. I wouldn't say that. It's easy enough to stay safe in public. 24-hour fast food restaurants with CCTVs, public hospitals, even the police department, for crying out loud. The killer might know the school security system like the back of his hand, but he can't control all of Isamu. And Haru didn't seem like the stupid type? Just so. Coincidence? Probably not. Good boy. But if that's the case, why wouldn't he tell anyone his suspicions? You tell me. Because he didn't have any. He was just going to tail the first guy who left the school. And on that note, why didn't he notify the police if he was going to take such a risky action? Why wouldn't he notify the police? Why wouldn't he indeed? Bugs! This is what you want me to feel. Correction. This is what you want to feel. Want you to feel. Because I have to understand what Haru is thinking. You only don't understand Haru because you're distancing yourself too much. It's time to get real, kid. Check that phone of yours. Check my phone? I stumble out of my concentration in a disoriented mess. Still in the subway, which is now completely empty. How long have I been thinking? I peer around the abandoned platform. Nothing but the soft flickering of dim lights. Well, I guess this makes sense. Isn't exactly a major station. A dull vibration in the pocket of my pants redirects my attention. Well, aren't you excited? That's right. My phone must have been vibrating all this time. Awkward. From Shigure, probably, to lure me someplace or another. Or some teacher to warn me on my absence. Maybe even a friend who's wondering where I've been. It's probably vibrating from the moment I entered the subway. Vibrating incessantly. Commotion. I tend to shut it out when I'm overwhelmed. Distancing myself from reality, as Mr. Ryuta would call it. Childhood drama, learned behavior, coping mechanism. One moment the world is there, and the next it's just me alone with the figureheads inside my brain. A caricature of Mr. Ryuta to help me think better. Or a caricature of Rui to stabilize my emotions. Such extremes haven't been necessary for years. After all, what excitement happens in high school? Gossip, relationships, bullying. But now I'm distant. I feel it in myself. Something hollow, cold. Something that apparently couldn't even notice the vibrations of my own phone. Can we answer that, please? Because it's really getting annoying. Well, guess I eventually noticed. I humor myself and scroll through the notifications. Daily, mundane life, I expect. Can you stop? Can you stop? Stop vibrating. Thank you. Sarge, I hate to disturb you, your 1,000-year slumber. Have you seen your destined princess? Dude, have you seen Rui? Uh-oh. Is Rui with you? Rui, MIA after school. Respond ASAP. Rui is missing? Oh no. I don't even realize it, but my fingers weaken and my phone slides through their spaces between my knuckles and turn end over end. It clatters to the ground, the shrill impact of fine glass against concrete echoing down the hollow, utterly abandoned passage in which I sit. Rui. Missing. Rui is missing. Starts out as a disappearance. 3 times. A disappearance from school. A mysterious vanishing after a long curfew. No one can find them. No one can contact them. Phones are tracked and found in garbage disposals. CCTV footage turns up corrupted or deleted or looped. Then the bodies are found, peeled, sliced, ripped apart. The mutilation remains of what was once a human being. What if one of those bodies, one of those victims, someone who gave terrible, rending screams that only went unheard, was Rui? Waking up in the cold dark, greeted by a pale, croaking voice, seeing nothing but the sheen of a blade in the moonlight, something that saws through flesh. I just realized that one of the deaths we witnessed was Akane, because she said, I have a boyfriend. Soji. Just made that connection just now. Sorry. I force a shaky breath into my lungs as my chest constricts. The world pulses. Rui's the next victim. An afternoon disappearance. Another break in the pattern. One more shaky breath. My vision spins. Rui is with the killer. With someone whose mask is perfect. Who disappears without a trace. Who eludes the police without effort. Like everything is just a game. Someone who isn't caught by an army of highly trained officers of the law enforcement. Someone whom I could never dream of catching. Rui's going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just a 17-year-old kid hiding in the subway like a homeless beggar, a refugee from police custody. Rui's smile, her teasing, her nagging, gone just like that. Another figure who entered my life only to leave me, violently ripped away before her time. Another person who deserved to live so much longer. Pull yourself together! Moping around doesn't help anyone. If you want to be useful, then be useful. Lizzie. Figures I'd see you. You like to challenge me. Guess this time wouldn't be any different. So, things aren't hopeless. What amazing advice do you have for me? This comes almost mockingly. A crushing weight has filled the space that was once empty in shock. I have nothing left but sarcasm and cynicism. In response, Elizabeth's image flickers to Mr. Ryuta. There's still a key that you have to remember about Haru's case. A key. A key! Recall it. How did you stumble on the killer in the first place? Haru sent me a location ping. It's only after that sentence spills out with too much ease that I realize its irregularity. Haru sent me a location ping. We're not even close. Not only that, but there is barely any time between the location ping and his death. So somehow in his last moments, just before he died, he decided to send a location ping to me. I fervently racked my brain for an answer. Would Haru really do that? Would he really put the fate of his own life on me? I scanned through the flowcharts of known ways people socialize in my head, but it turns up blank. My brain is freezing. I can't seem to see beyond the mental image of stumbling on Rui's body, cold and bloody, mouth open, and the last remnants of a scream. No, Haru, location ping. Why would he send it? Why would... Blood, terror, the crushing force of water. No, stop! Must think. I force all the habits from excessive therapy sessions into practice. Deep breaths, tall spine, tense all muscles, and relax slowly from top to bottom. Her life is at stake. Rui could die any minute. Maybe she already has. Or maybe she's cramped up in whatever sick place this psycho has, waiting and dreading the moment when nothing will be on her mind but excruciating pain. Damn it! Mr. Ryuta bleeds to Elizabeth, flickering for a moment, then bleeds to Misaki. Yama? I can't do this anymore, Miki. Please, just leave me alone. I know this is hard, but right now, you're the one with the best chance of finding the killer. Because of this damn phone? You know what? Fine. I can't handle this on my own. I'm giving it to the police. Won't they just arrest you? Yeah, but they'll find out that I'm not the real killer. But they have to trust your word that someone else put the phone in your apartment, rather than you taking it from Haru yourself. It could take days, maybe weeks, to clear the situation, even if you are eventually found innocent. And by that time, Rui will be dead. Miki, please help me. Rui, don't you love Rui? She needs us. In that case, do you remember whether someone sent you an out-of-place location ping? I received and sent too many damn location pings to keep track of. Maybe you can narrow it down? Or maybe you can start using your head. Before Harubunya, was there anyone else who accidentally sent you a location ping? Misaki did. She sent us a location ping for the rooftop when she meant to send it to Yahiko. Meant to send it to him. Actually, now that it's mentioned, I remember something. A location ping from Miki. Did we arrange a meeting? I don't recall any recent conversations with her. Yeah, It was you, actually. You sent me a location ping by accident. You mistapped because my name was right under... Wait, mistapped because my name and his name are right next to each other. Yahiko Ikari! When I think about it, everything fits too well. Yahiko Ikari, he started the Happy Club and is connected with 3 recent deaths, Akane, Soji, and Haru. And before that, he also knew Midori and Toma. Midori is actually Japanese for green. And... No. Yes. Yes? Yes. He would know a lot about the Academy's security and technology, maybe even more than the average faculty member, being the son of higher-ups at Lemonsgate. And I've seen how, in the blink of an eye, he can shift from joy to depression, almost as if he has perfect control over how he wants his emotions to be seen. He knows me, knows the code to my apartment, knows my schedule, knows my actions and my reactions. And he was there. At the murder of Haru, Yahiko Ikari was there. He had coincidentally run into me, seemed flabbergasted that I was there, so kindly offered to cover for me. Yahiko Ikari, my former roommate, my friend. Well, isn't that just so damn typical? The serial killer can't just be some random chump off the street. No, he has to be someone close to me. But as my fury intensifies, a black anger, nausea, everything solidifies the blood in my body. Misaki's image fizzles into Masato. What kind of friend are you, man? You know it ain't Yahiko. You've known him for 2 years. I spit bitterly. Yeah, give me some proof. I'd love to believe it. For starters, you got no proof that some big shot organization just hacked out your lock. Might be tough to break for one person, but ain't even a sneeze for a team of pros. So you're saying that the serial killer could actually be an organization, and they decided to frame me when I caught one of their members killing Haru in District 6. Well, yeah, something like that. That does make sense, because there was a phone call out to have someone come clean up the mess. So it does make sense that it would be an organization. Personally, I can't believe it would be Yahiko. Or I don't want to. I don't know. And something doesn't make sense. If the killer, or organization, whatever, weren't close to me, it's weird that I'm still alive, Haru's phone's in my apartment, Academy students were targeted. I mean, the killings have been drawing attention to would-be, if it is an organization, would draw attention to the organization. So of course they need a scapegoat. If an organization really was behind framing me, then why would they be killing students? What? I don't get it. What does that got to do with anything? Wait. Maybe they were hired to kill some students. How the hell are we supposed to know anything about their goal? Why does my damn brain have to fail me now of all times? I have to rethink this. Something went wrong in my reasoning. Sure. It's weird because I'm still alive. Why wouldn't they just kill me? Witness to a crime scene, out by myself in District 6. They wanted to frame you, man. Framing someone who's alive does a whole lot more than framing someone who's dead. Specifically, if he can't really defend himself. But that's the thing. How could they know that I couldn't defend myself? Huh? The only people who could possibly know about my lapses are ones who are close to me. Really close. Rui and Misaki for sure. Maybe you and Yahiko. Which means that the killer could only have been one of those 4 people. It can't be Rui. It can't be Misaki. And well, I'm pretty sure it can't be you either. But you don't think that way for Yahiko? You want me to list the evidence alphabetically or chronologically? I can't believe it, but Yahiko actually fits. Well, son of a bitch. Let me ask you one more thing, man. Do you really think that Yahiko's the serial killer? I just told you that. Do you really believe? Like, you believe the sun will rise every morning and I'll badger you in a track every day that Yahiko's the man? No. I don't. I honestly don't. Everything goes against him, but for some reason, I just can't imagine that Yahiko would be the serial killer. But isn't that shallow-minded? Isn't that foolish? Isn't that the exact same situation we're in currently? The evidence is stacked against us, and yet we think we didn't do it. Couldn't my reluctance lead to Rui's death? Right then. Yeah. Masato's image fizzles into Akira, who jabs an energetic finger in my direction. Righto, cheerio. Time to think of this from another angle. We got ourselves some tricks up our metaphorical sleeves, Sarge, so don't give up yet. Yeah, no offense, but you're not exactly the person I want for logical thinking. Oh, but what you need and what you want are two completely different things. Like dying versus not dying. Well, what do you suggest? Well, you have a suspect now, right? Don't flip the turtles out before you prove whether he's guilty or not. That's like counting your chickens before the avian flu strikes and wipes them all off the face of the planet. So, find proof of Yahiko's innocence. Easier said than done. Much easier said than done. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Sarge. You've got some things stewing in that brain of yours. Such as? Akira suddenly morphs into Misaki. Don't you remember how the killer forgot about the phone's wall charging feature? Yahiko loves technology as much as I do. Not to mention that his parents work at Lemonscape. If he were the killer, do you really think he would have forgotten something so simple? Well, right, but by itself, it's pretty weak. Misaki fizzles out, allowing Elizabeth to take center stage. And think, what does Haru mistap really imply? Remember, in his panicked last moments, he was attempting to send a location ping to Yahiko, but his finger slipped on you instead. Of course. Why didn't I see that before? Haru was trying to send a location ping to Yahiko to get help. Haru wanted to let Yahiko know that he was in danger. If Yahiko saw that he was in District 6, well, I think even Yahiko would know that something was wrong. Correct. Also, Haru must have eventually been able to get a signal through. Because he showed up. Even if it was after me. Not only that, but he had already called the police. I'm trying to help you, dude. You have to get out of here now. Why would I? Go! Leave! Which means that your entire basis for suspecting Yahiko Ikari is now null and void. Thank you! A little part of me relaxes, before I realize that this doesn't actually solve anything. Rui's gone, and I'm nowhere closer to discovering the killer than I was before I started thinking. Rui's still in danger. I'm still a runaway convict. The serial killer is still running amok, having his little grim parties. Is there nothing I can do? Nothing? Excuse me. Wait one moment. Think. Why did Haru not notify the police before he began trailing the killer? Like me, he is a capable individual. We don't just miss such things. Indeed, why wouldn't Haru have requested backup? Or at least given an anonymous tip? He doesn't trust the police, he didn't want to alert the killer, he lost access to his phone. But he sent a ping to Yahiko. So I don't think he lost access to his phone. Didn't want to alert the killer. Maybe he thought that if he spoke with the police, the killer would somehow learn about it and start playing safe. But that leads to a different assumption. The assumption that the killer would somehow learn about any information told to the police. In other words, that the police are corrupt. If that's the case, then it would make sense why Haru wouldn't contact them. Simply put, he didn't trust them. Didn't trust them. Why? A personal traumatic encounter? Previous difficulties in dealing with law enforcement? Or could it be something else? Could it be that Haru saw something in the police, something that he never could forget? You know him more than I do. What is your opinion on the matter? He was my errand boy. You claim to be good at reading people. Are you saying that you misread the suspect? I am not wrong. Then you agree that Yama Ishimoto is the prime suspect. They didn't actually say his name, did they? Or did they? I just read it a few minutes ago and I don't remember. I agree. Could Haru have seen corruption? Why is it that a student was the first one to think of camping outside the school and tailing the serial killer? Why is it that the investigation force didn't even go through the school, scouring the area for any evidence on the killer? Why is it that no city CCTV ever turned up with any results? Why, if all this time, sitting behind the curtain, watching us dance, the police was just there, laughing, watching us run in fear as they pretend that they're trying to protect us? And that would mean Haru died for nothing. Yahiko called for nothing. And now Rui will disappear, will be shredded to pieces, will be left to rot for nothing. And there's nothing, not one damn thing, that I can do. Catch the killer, find the evidence, package him up and ship him to the police department, and he'll just walk free, because it was all part of the plan. Or worse yet, they won't even catch him. They'll have him surrounded and he'll miraculously break free and they'll give chase like a bunch of fools. And Rui will die for nothing. Rui, with her fiery passion and her love and her endless enthusiasm for her dear ones, will pass into the fate of nihilism, where there is no intrinsic value, no purpose, no beneficial weight to her sacrifice for me. She'll be remembered, maybe by a memorial for victims who were the targets of a horrifying serial killer who will, maybe, one day be brought to justice. That would be her only identity, a murder victim, a girl who had her whole life ahead of her, one more poor soul in the annals of injustice. I think it's supposed to be canals of injustice, not anals. Just saying. No one would know her smile, or her little quips, or the way she bit her lip when she was nervous about something. No, the name Rui Hayata would only bring nods of pity and despondent sighs, and if she's really lucky, fuel for a movement for treatment of mental illness, or weapon control, or some other political objective. And then, as days pass on, as time becomes months and years and decades, she'll be forgotten forever. Drowned out in the names of other victims who will be remembered with nothing but nods of pity and despondent sighs. Nothing but non-existence. Irie suddenly appears and stares at me with such intensity that I swear she's almost real. Do not lose focus. Her image blurs at the edges, rounding out, hair turning orange, and... Gosh, you're a wreck! What happened? I open my mouth. A feeble, unintelligible noise bleats out. You try to do too much, Yama. That's the problem. You want to do everything, but everything becomes so overwhelming that you just end up doing nothing. You can only do what you can. The rest is out of your hands. I can only do what I can. Yeah, and right now, all you can do is figure out who the killer is. You're up for that much, right? So, you're stuck because you think the killer has to be you, me, Yahiko, or Masato, right? I guess. My voice comes out very small. I squash the temptation to reach out, touch her jacket, her hair, anything. Because right now, she's not real. Right now, she might not even be... Are you paying attention? No. Wow. I think I finally know what it's like to be one of your teachers. I cough out a cross between a chuckle and a snort. It's so close to reality, but it's not. Then, oh, all-knowing teacher, what do you have to say? Well, your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. Yeah, but that's not the problem. The problem is that the killer knows about my lapses. No, wait. There's something strikingly familiar about what she said. Didn't she mention this before? Didn't she say something like this before? There's something vitally important about that statement. Your passcode is literally so stupid that anyone who saw it just once could get in. What sticks out so much? Somebody else has said this. Just once. She'd been talking about someone who had seen my code just once. Someone who commented on how stupid it was. Please. Your code's the stupidest possible code to exist on the planet. Even Mr. Ryuta pointed out how stupid it was. Uh-oh, I was afraid of that. Jiro Ryuta. A man who helped me move into my apartment. Who commented on how stupid the code was. Who certainly would have remembered it. A man who knew all the victims because they each were fighting psychological problems. And he was the school counselor. A man who would know the security of the school inside and out, yet would not be up to date with the latest features of smartphones, like a wall charger. A man who was strong enough to inflict the same wounds as the serial killer, smart enough to outmaneuver the police, controlled enough of fake sanity in the day. A man who, after curfew, is free from his duties. And a man who would approach me after seeing me at Haru's murder site, surprised that I didn't seem to remember what had happened. A man who would certainly be curious at my unusual reaction. A man who could access the confidential school records and learn about my lapses from there. A man who I trusted. Trusted too much. Why? It's not you. There's something I must have missed. A proof, a theory, anything. Why? Why did it have to be you? You damn old geezer, why would you even... Why? Nothing but silence. The silence of finality, of a door that's been opened and can never be closed. All tension leaves my body. I can vaguely feel myself slumping on the subway bench, neck uncomfortably stretched to accommodate the weight of my head. Mr. Ryuta, my mentor, my friend, and the serial killer. You're really different today, Yama. What's bothering you? Back then, I should have seen it. Because why hadn't anyone else noticed? Why was Mr. Ryuta the only one who thought something had happened that night? Who, me? I'm pretty much free bird after I verify curfew. I had my suspicions. I'd known that there was something odd about him. But I didn't want there to be. I wanted to wave it away. I wanted to trust Mr. Ryuta. I wanted just one person who would understand everything and stay on my side. Well, there's no explicit rule saying I can't use the confidential databases. I'm pretty sure that there is. Nope, I may be faculty, but I'm not a teacher. It's only stated that teachers have to request special permission. I checked the loopholes. Right. You know how the entry student application to the academy requires psychological analysis by a qualified physician, yes? Yeah, another security measure, isn't it? Oop, that was Yama. Sorry. Let me read this and see what you think. He knew about my lapses. Not because I told him, but because he had access to the psychological overviews of each student. He would have known each of the victims. Maybe they were assigned to his counseling care just like I was. Gah, I hate computers. But we'd all be dead without them. You know what was great? My desktop iPair. Man, that was great. Stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of the fan. You guys don't know how satisfying it is to hear your computer work to keep itself cool. That's kind of weird. No casual user has a desktop anymore. Oh, and icon phones. Man, phones these days break if you breathe on them wrong. Icon phones? They could survive a nuclear blast. There we go. Finally working. And he knew about computers. Not an avid follower of electronics. Not enough to know about weed. But enough to know about phone batteries. Instead of detention, the teacher's convinced that I need more permanent solution. Like death? I can help you with that. It's not something you say to a student. No, geez, mouth. So, how's the apartment? Still in one piece, mostly. Good to hear. And Phil? Phil. The little houseplant, the one I placed on your shelf. Your memory sucks more than mine, kid. Wow. How do you have this much free time? Life as a dorm manager is just swell, isn't it? Like die-cut pieces of a complex puzzle, all the facts and memories line up in a perfect succession. The killer is Mr. Ryuta. Now I know with certainty, intrinsically, just like I know I can sit on a chair and it'll support my weight. Or I can walk under a bridge and it won't fall on top of me. Hopefully. I just don't know what to do next. Shouldn't there be a sense of triumph? A miniature party in the back of my head giving me a cookie for successfully finding out the killer? Something's keeping me going. Something propelling me to the next step. I know the identity of the killer. Shouldn't I report this? But to whom? I'm on the run from the police, who may or may not be corrupt. I can hardly show my face at school, and if I called Mr. Ryuta, well, it simply wouldn't do anything. For the most part, it feels like I should just give up. There's nothing further to head to. No way out of the conundrum I've worked myself into. The situation requires me to be clever, more clever than I can be. I want to think myself out, find some magical solution, but sometimes it's just not there. Reaching into an empty bag and expecting handfuls of gold? Then, is this it? Someone's calling me. Maybe I'll pick it up, and on the other end I'll hear a cold, dead voice of Rui's parents saying quietly that Rui's been found, but as a bleeding, mutilated lump of flesh and bone. Maybe I'll drop my phone, and this time it'll shatter completely, crushed to pieces like fragments of sanity stringing me together. Just answer the phone. Or maybe it's a tracking call from Lemonsgate, a bid from the police that I'll be stupid enough to pick it up. Unknown. Whoops, sorry, I did not mean to click through that. If I answer it, and it is from the police, I'll be caught in the blink of an eye. Rui will die. Ryuta will run free. But if I don't, what then? I'll be left alone to fend for myself. And somehow I'll have to extract Rui safely and catch Ryuta and somehow stay alive. Is it even possible? Or do I need help, no matter how much I despise it? I'm answering the phone because I'm hoping it's Shigure. No, I have to pick it up. Facing Ryuta by myself will only result in getting both Rui and me killed. With shaking fingers, I answer the call. Hello? Oh, it's Shigure! Yes! Yes! Yama Ishimoto, I need you to listen carefully. This is my personal phone. It cannot be tracked. The number you have been contacting until now has been my work phone. I need to hang up. Now. Surely they're tracking my number, narrowing down the district and blocks, and even the last millimeter. But I only clutch the phone tighter. Do not hang up, Yama. The walls that I've built up, struggling to keep a foothold on my emotions, are starting to crumble. The police are in the midst of a manhunt for your person. They sincerely believe that you are the killer. And you need me to turn myself in? I need you to stay out of sight and give me time. What? Is this some kind of next level bait? I don't understand. Don't get caught, Ishimoto. Any time you might give me is time we may dedicate to catching the true killer. But you said you were the only suspect I could trust to avoid the police for the necessary amount of time. I fall into silence at this, the magnitude of her statement only growing the more I ponder it. You saw me at the apartments and were warning me? You hardly were inconspicuous. So, if you happen to possess any previously unknown information regarding the identity of the killer, now would be a wonderful time to state as such. It could be a trap. Could still be a trap. But I don't think it is. The killer is Jiro Ryuta, the dorm manager and the counselor of the academy. Silence falls momentarily. On the other end of the phone, I can practically see Shiguri's grip tighten. What? How did you come to know this? Shiguri? Did you get any recent disappearance reports? 3, actually. I need help. Shiguri, help. My voice cracks, and I hate it. Hate feeling vulnerable. Hate feeling open. But I don't have a choice. Shiguri falls silent for a moment. For a long, long moment. And just when I'm beginning to think that she's hung up, she speaks. Will you live within the next 5 minutes? Her voice is slow and steady, soothing my frazzled nerves. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not injured. Then, the urgency? Rui's disappeared. I work to speak, but my throat's gone dry. After a moment of silence, Shigure continues. You presume she is with the killer. He must have taken her. I have no time to question you, Ishimoto, so I will ask you this and this only. Are you completely, absolutely certain that the culprit is Jiro Ryuta? Yes. I say it with hesitation. It appears to catch her off guard. Very well. I shall send forces to the academy under the reasoning that you may be hiding there. We may be able to find where he is holding Rui. That's it? She just takes my word as law? Thanks. In the meantime, stay out of sight and out of mind. Do you understand? But Ryuta would see the police coming. He wouldn't stand still. He would escape immediately after killing Rui. Actually, I'm planning on contacting him. For what purpose? I need to meet with him. To buy some time. Otherwise... Shigure violently explodes into strident screams that I'd never heard from her before. You gullible imbecile! You moronic excuse for... What are you even thinking? I'm taken aback by her sudden flare of passion, but my surprise is quickly relapsed by indignance. At least I'm telling you now, aren't I? Oh yes, when it's nearly too late, and I would have called it a corpse. Simply put, Ishimoto, you haven't told me anything. Why would you not speak to me if you knew the identity of the killer? A very real bolt of anger lances through me. Why? Because I just figured it out. Because somehow, barely at the end of my rope, I found something to cling on to. But I can't tell her that. If I say that I just figured it out, she might change her mind. She might need reasoning. Who will trust a teenager who just figured out the supposed identity of a serial killer? I had good reason for doing so. Oh, God, do enlighten me. You can't just believe me? Need to throw some more tests? Another little riddle run in District 6? Hell, was that investigation in the school just another goose chase? Funny little game to see how the kids in the academy dance. What are you saying, Ishimoto? You're right, I guess. Even while I was figuring out who the killer was, I didn't call you. Didn't ask for your help. Because I knew what you would say. You'd poke holes at me. You'd say that my reasoning didn't make any sense. You need empirical evidence. I knew that you wouldn't have believed me. You never even needed me as your assistant in the first place. Cold silence descends. I wouldn't have believed you? And then something happens. Something that I would have thought be impossible. Shiguri's voice cracks. But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you just trusted me. If you just... She falters a moment, then seems to recover, her voice strengthening. Ishimoto, regardless of my previous insinuations, I need you to know something. I do not tolerate the idiocy of the average ingenious Denzen, much less let them become my personal assistant. You have repeatedly proven yourself through your rational deductions, your level-headed procedures, and your propensity to attack problems from unusual angles. Your input is invaluable. Despite our clear disparity in experience, you have taught me several valuable lessons. Do you wish to know why I pulled your accomplices into the investigation rather than opting for the police unit? Simply put, my permissions in the case were barred from the academy. All information I was given was second-hand, and thus easily corruptible. However, I was impressed by how you and your accomplices worked wholeheartedly. Yama Ishimoto, I have faith in you. Her words pierced through me. I'm frozen to the ground in shock, wordlessly opening and closing my mouth. Shigure believes in me. I don't even know how to react. But after that meeting with Natsuki, you... fired you? That was for your own benefit, you imbecile. Or are your eyes too... Oh, never mind. This familiar type of response wrings a chuckle out of me, but my mind is still racing. I have faith in you. Those simple little words. Words that tell me that I can do something, that acknowledge my efforts, that tell me it's okay, you'll do the right thing. In the distance, I catch a faint glimmer of the approaching subway, hailed by the distant echo of an announcer's voice. Sudden clarity breaks into my mind. It's as if every disjointed piece just fell into place. I know what to do. Thanks, Shigure. I get to my feet as the subway grinds to a halt before me, but Shigure's voice comes harshly into my earpiece. Yama, listen carefully. We are en route, but there are powerful forces behind this case that remain very much hostile. It will take time to arrive. You understand this? I do. I'll get you time. I am extremely uneasy at the thought of knowingly sending a civilian into the presence of a known serial killer. But if you honestly believe you can prevent a death tonight, I shall not stop you. I think I can? Oh, well, that sounds convincing. I probably can? I suppose that is the best I can ask for. I would wish that you might wait until I could convey a firearm to you, but not possible with the current time frame. I have to go now. Neither of us mentioned that it would also be extremely illegal. Understood. Best of luck, Ishimoto. One sec. Stay on call. I punch Ryuta's contact and set the phone on speaker, waiting patiently. Shigure apparently understands. Not a word crosses her lips. Finally, a neutral tone indicates that Ryuta's picked up. Hello? Hearing his voice makes me freeze. This voice that comforted me, guided me, made me laugh, in the end, it left me, just like everything does. I quickly shake myself, trying to master my words. He's an enemy now, a stranger. Feign ignorance, maybe I can still grab an advantage. Hey, Mr. Ryuta. Hey, kid. That's when I realize that something's terribly wrong. It's some ungodly hour in the morning, and yet he picked up immediately, and he sounds wide awake. Almost as if he's been preparing for this moment. Mr. Ryuta. Say, you have great timing. I was wondering if we could meet up. I know that it's like some crazy hour or another, but I have something pretty important to tell you. It has to do with, your lapses. Is that really it? Is that why he's up? Can't bring myself to believe that. Mr. Ryuta, I was just... But before I can add anything more, Ryuta's phone buzzes angrily in the background. Pauses for a moment. Sorry, kid. Just let me take this call really quick. And he suddenly mutes. Fingers shaking, I also mute my end, switching to Shigure's call. Did you hear all that? Quite clearly. Ishimoto, about the call Ryuta just received. I am uneasy that it may perhaps... But that's when I hear Ryuta's voice, and I quickly switch back to his call and unmute. Thankfully, Shigure immediately falls silent. Mr. Ryuta? Mr. Ryuta, did you find anything out about... Nice try. You almost had me. Hang up that call with the police first, then we'll talk. I almost dropped the phone, full of panic lancing straight into my chest. He knows. How could he? You're not getting on top of the keyboard. Hurry up, boy. I don't have all day. I shakily mute and switch the call. I expect Shigure to burst into anger, but she only seems resigned. It is as I surmised. A mole? That, or... She trails off, as if the thought is too terrible to comprehend. Ishimoto, knowing the new risk, are you still determined to enter the school? I have to. I can't let Rui go without a fight. I shall bring a unit. Give us as much time as you possibly can. I will. And Ishimoto, given the choice between a stupid option and a stupider option, which would you pick? The less stupid one? Wrong. You must pick neither, and wait. Please, Ishimoto. You wouldn't enter the lottery, nor borrow from a loan shark in order to buy a house, no? It is best to wait and save. Do you understand? What? Just remember this. And she hangs up, leaving me alone in the subway. I switch back to Ryuta's call and unmute. He chuckles lightly. If you just asked the police for help, I wouldn't count on it. You don't know a thing, do you? I know you're the murderer. That's a pretty good start. Hey, murderer is such a harsh term. I like to call myself an artiste, with the E. He chuckles again, but this time it comes with a pinch of shrillness that wasn't there before. My foreboding only skyrockets. Just what kind of insanity has he been hiding? So, hung up the call. Now what? Quite simply, the fun begins. Come to my play, boy. I've been setting the stage. This just confirms my fears. For some reason, Ryuta's been preparing to kill me. Maybe I'm the next one on his list. No, I can't let this shake me. I have to stay strong. Talk normally. You've done it before. Oh, the false bravado of a man in love. I know it well. Did I really sound like that? I wonder. It's so terribly stupid. Are you going to answer my question, or are you going to wax more poetry? Poetry is by far a more interesting option, don't you think? Only for people with too much time on their hands. And that is the eternal problem, boy, for the both of us. We each have too much time on our hands. Far, far too much. Doesn't life just get so dull, every hour passing drearily, like a never-ending group project where all you want to do is murder your classmates? That's what life is. How do you ease your boredom, I wonder? Television? Social media? No. You do neither. Sleep? Thanks, Shakespeare, but I think my life is my own business. I look forward to stripping that sense of righteous anger within you and replacing it with terror. I look forward to you trying. Ha! I love the ones that fight back. Just makes their dissent all the more satisfying. Before I can respond, he plows on, his voice gradually rising in pitch. Now, let's set the stage, shall we? I thought you were taking care of that. Oh, don't worry. I'll be taking care of all the props. Do you hear me, boy? Don't bring any extra props. The thought never crossed my mind. Leave your phone and any police toys at the entrance. I'll see if you try to smuggle something into the theater. Understand? Is that it? Not quite. Why are you so hasty to end the call? Am I boring you? Sure, let's go with that. Then I'll get straight to the point. There's a brief moment of silence, punctuated only by the faint tones of Ryuta punching numbers into his phone. Then I hear a voice. Yama, don't you dare do anything stupid! Nothing hits me, but it's like all the breath has been sucked out of my lungs. Rui? Stay there! Don't come! I wordlessly open and close my mouth, desperately searching for words. My mind only runs blank. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but right now, I am the master of Rui's fate, so you might want to stay on my good side. This is how it's going to happen. You come to the back of the school. You know, the garbage truck route. You're going to dump all your toys. Then I'll let you in. How? There's no entrance. Why is it that you all say the same thing? Boring. Where there is a will, boy, there is a way. So that's it then. Well, actually, I feel like I should tell you this, just out of the kindness of my heart. Rui won't be there. For insurance purposes, I'm sure you understand. My fingers clamp in a death grip on my phone. What do you mean, Rui won't be there? Hush, child. Why are you so impatient? Right now, Rui's in the safe hands of a third party, as long as you listen to my words. So, we meet up, have a little chat, I let Rui go, everyone gets their happy ending, except the police, who, well, you know, they don't have anything anyway. A beautiful arrangement, no. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Grind my teeth and force a long, slow breath. If I go, I won't be able to see Rui with my own eyes. She could be anywhere. Even when Shigure comes, we won't be able to find her. But am I really in a position to be making demands? I feel like I have to agree. No, I can't predict this new Ryuta. I have no power, no trump card. If I push too much, he can make the situation even worse. I'll just have to make the most of it. The back of the school, then. I'll give you 15 minutes. I'm coming from the subway station. Then you'd better run. Ta-ta! And that's the last thing he says before he hangs up. Almost blankly, I stand in the middle of the subway platform, phone swinging loosely from the edge of my fingers. Then all my muscles burst into action, and I shoot out of the subway, legs pounding the pavement as fast as I can make them. My lungs start to burn as the cold night air rushes into my throat like knives, but I'm forced to ignore it. Stoplights in the cross sections warn me to stop, but when I see a gap between the incoming cars, I bolt across for my life. Engines roar by and horns belt in full volume. I'm certain that cars roll down their windows and call me crazy, scream that I'm an idiot, swear to call the police on me, but I don't care. They're coming back from a long workday, or from grabbing fast food around the corner, or picking up their kid from martial arts or cram school. Meanwhile, there's a girl locked up somewhere, knowing nothing except the sickening fact that at any moment she might die. I need a drink. And yet on they go, with fast food, martial arts, and cram school. The world blurs by in a haze of bright, fluorescent color until I finally ground to a halt at the entrance of the school. My heart feels as though it's slamming into my ribs, bruising itself until it bleeds. I'm forced to stop and lean against the gate, gulping desperately for air. 13 minutes. I only have 2 left. Press my sleeve against the sweat coating my brow, allowing myself time for one more deep breath. Then I sprint around the perimeter of the school, stopping by the shady back area where all the good kids stay clear of. Ground-up cigarette butts lie scattered on the floor. If I squint, I can catch the light gleam of empty needles in the grass. Ooh. Well, maybe this school was a little less tidy than I first thought. As I near the trash bin, I notice a long, distinct human-shaped figure leaning against a solid wall. Fine weather we're having. I expect the voice, but I don't have the instinctive reaction that comes with it. My breath catches and my throat clogs, sending tears straight into my eyes, no matter how hard I try to keep them down. Mr. Ryuta steps into the moonlight, lips twisted into a lopsided grin. Out for a little night exercise? I try to speak, but no sound passes my lips. Sorry, my throat's suddenly sore because I've been reading for so long. I know what he's doing. I know what this is. A power play. I'm sweaty, tired, disheveled, and likely very sleep-deprived. Forcing me to run here, only gave him more of an advantage. And there's nothing I can do about it. Now, removal of gadgets, if you may. Wordlessly, I reach into my pockets and silently hand him my phone. Don't have any other choice. Turn out your pockets, pants, and jacket. I do so. You're walking evenly, so I doubt you're carrying anything in your shoes or your underwear. Come in! We've wasted enough time. How? We're at the back of the... But then he touches the wall, and part of it slides away, and suddenly there's a keypad. He jabs a sequence of 6 digits into the keypad, waits, and the wall slides open. Why? Why is there a secret door? Why? It's nothing like one of those mysterious puzzles of the ancient architecture in video games where the whole wall rumbles apart while the ground shakes and dust falls from the ceiling and a magical passageway is revealed. Simply put, door-shaped part of the wall swings open as if it was just a door painted to look like a wall. Except the texture is somehow exactly the same. It's quiet, it's understated, and I would have never guessed in a million years that it was there. Ryuta clocks my shock and only grins in response. Let me tell you something, kid. The janitor has to get in and out somehow to dump the trash. Now, smooth little schools like this, they love to give the illusion that they're perfectly protected. Impenetrable walls in every direction. The only gate supervised by a card reader and cameras. But functionally speaking, you think that the janitor is going to walk out the gates all the way around the school, dump, go back all the way around and through the gates? Of course not. That's sheer nonsense. Sheer nonsense. Something on the level of presuming that the janitor took everything to the land of missing socks. I knew that there had to be another way in, and well, it took some searching, but that's how I found this. Why hadn't I thought of something like that? Why did it have to be Ryuta? If you're trying to brag, don't expect a red carpet award from me. What I'm trying to tell you, kid, is that even the richest school in all of Isamu has a crappy security system. I, one man, outsmarted it. Just like this. To be fair, they probably weren't expecting a serial killer to be in their faculty. Sloppy work on their part. Let's go. The night isn't getting any younger, and nor am I. He turns and slides into the corridor, moving so fluidly that his head stays perfectly even over the ground. I then notice that his careful steps render him virtually silent, like a predator hunting down a piece of injured prey. It's a simple matter of exiting the building, turning the corner, and entering the classroom complex. He leads me up the stairs to the second floor. He pulls open the door, lifting an eyebrow at me. I only stare inside the dim gloom, suddenly filled with dread. Everything could be a trap. Ryuta could have already killed Rui. Shigure could be lying. There are so many moving components to this encounter, so many potential things that could go completely wrong. I turn my gaze to Ryuta, who only jerks his head at the door in a distinctly more impatient fashion. Impatience. I file this nugget into the back portion of my mind that's still miraculously working. Then, with one deep breath, I enter the classroom. Ryuta follows straight behind me, announcing my appearance with a loud crow. And the delinquent arrives at last! He pushes up his sleeves as if he's getting ready for work, tossing his keys and phone on top of the desk, probably in an effort to unburden himself for whatever he has planned. I stop abruptly, my eyes roving frantically across the classroom, searching empty space. Huddled in the back corner of the room are two desolate figures tied firmly to their chairs. The first is a girl, the second a boy. I don't recognize either of them, but they look young, maybe in their first year. They're speechless, but even from where I sit, I can see the sweat rolling from their temples and dripping onto their necks, and their knees are clearly shaking. Both of them absolutely terrified, innocent bystanders pulled into this sick, dastardly game. That's when Ryuta abruptly pounds the handle of his knife against the desk, blasting my ears with a sudden sound. My heart instinctively jumps into my throat. He snickers quietly at the shock that must be evident on my face. Welcome, class. Hate to say it, but you're now in a remedial session. Suffice to say, you've all screwed up in a big way, and it's my job to whip you back into shape. How I hate it, but someone in this snooty little elementary school has to smack the hands of the naughty ones. He suddenly whips to me, his eyes blazing fire, pointing the tip of his knife right at my chest. You! Why aren't you sitting down? I sit down, throat dry, Ryuta's shoulders immediately relax. Good. That's exactly how I like it. Now, Ishimoto, is it? Since you came in late, you get to be my special assistant. My body goes cold. My eyes immediately turn to the knife. Ryuta, reading my intentions, chuckles. Oh, don't look so scared, boy. You'll help me discipline. Sounds like a much better position to be in, doesn't it? Relief courses through me. I hate myself for it. I shouldn't be relieved. He is a discipliner, and I am a discipliner. Whatever he's planning on doing, I will have to copy. If he breaks bones, so must I. If he saws through limbs, so must I. And if I don't, then all of us will be killed right here, right now. Because the only thing keeping him playing along is me. What do we have to do? Oh, it's quite simple. He strides behind the teacher's desk and pulls something out underneath. My heart drops. 2 metal pipes, around 3 feet in length, rough around the edges. He rolls one to me. I automatically stoop down and pick it up. We'll take turns inflicting blows on our disciplinees. Good, solid blows that make a nice musical sound. The first discipliner who knocks out or kills their disciplinee loses. The 2 students explode into wailing at this statement. You bastard! You damn bastard! I can't believe you! Please don't hurt my sister. Don't hurt me. This makes me freeze. Brother and sister. I silently watch as Ryuta gleefully skips over to the chairs, dragging the 2 students over. Brother and sister. The cruelty will never end. I swear, if you lay a finger on my brother... Ryuta stops abruptly. The momentum throws the girl against her ropes, temporarily choking her into silence. Isn't she just so darling? I picked her out specifically for you, boy. You... Did you? Oh, yes. And she gets to be yours. I stare in silent horror at the girl. She only turns her head away. Hisao, look at me! Look at me, Hisao! The terrified boy locks eyes with her, face doused in a mixture of tears and sweat. You'll be okay. It'll be okay. Do you understand? It won't be. It'll be okay. Of course she'd say that. Except the first person to fall unconscious means a loss, which means I have to inflict pain without the promise of comfort. I can't do this. If I want to win, or at least not lose, each blow needs to be felt by their conscious mind. Oh, don't give me that face, boy. Glad I didn't pick the knife. I mean, I'm pretty tempted to, but then you'd probably lapse, and that's just boring. Something like this needs to be remembered. So, are we ready to begin? Honestly, picking a pipe could cause a lapse too, because it was a pipe, technically, that impaled his sister. So, and you have a brother-sister situation going on here, which could potentially cause a lapse. So, no, we can't. I'll go first. Watch and learn. He stands over the boy, gripping the pipe tightly in one hand, keeping the knife in the other. I watch, transfixed, even while everything in my brain is screaming for me to turn away and close my eyes. The boy whimpers quietly, eyes wide, squirming about the crude ropes that bind him to his chair. Ryuta smirks quietly at him and ruffles his hair. Not gonna lie to you, kid. This is gonna hurt like hell. No! Ryuta raises the pipe, painstakingly slow, revealing in the drama of that moment, reveling. 3, 2, 1. He whips the pipe down, but when it's just an inch away from the boy's kneecaps, he stops. Psych! The boy releases a great shuddering gasp, shoulders dropping in relief. Then, without a moment's hesitation, Ryuta lifts the pipe up and brings it down. Crack goes bone against metal, and the air splits from the impact. Horrifying, agonizing scream, punctuated by a shrill screech of metal at the base of the chair, grinds against the ground from the force of impact. Oh God. The boy is still screaming as Ryuta steps back, expressions I've never seen before dawning on his face. Oh, beauty. True beauty. How poignant is your sting. You fucked up, Ryuta. You fucked up. He giggles quietly to himself as the boy writhes against his chair, leg forced into an awkward angle. Damn it! This can't go on. I can't let this go on. Then, there's just one thing to do. Well, your turn, boy. This is a nightmare with no awakening, a dark tunnel with no sign of light. What use is it? There's nothing left to wait for. It's better to end it quickly than to prolong needless pain. I shouldn't have come here in the first place. I shouldn't have tried to fix anything. If only I had remained unattached. If only I had stayed oblivious, none of this would have happened. I raised the pipe with certainty, hands cold but steady. It would have been better if I had just stayed as a normal high school student, breezing past this final year of studies before a university exam. Alienated from this world of misery. I swing the pipe. The impact rushes assuredly to her skull, splitting it cleanly. Oh God! She doesn't have to scream. Please tell me that you just knocked her out, that you didn't actually kill her. Please, 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 please tell me you didn't accidentally kill her. You just knocked her out. Please. I straightened, expecting to fear, terror, guilt, fear. Okay. The only thing that overcomes me is a wave of nausea. Not the sickening blow of a fever or a flu, something on a deeper scale that flows to the outer edge of my body. A sensation that's slimy and incurable. Murderer, my mind whispers. There's silence from Ryuta, even from the boy. Not a single peep. The boy should be screaming in fury. He should be swearing vengeance at me, vowing to make me suffer for killing his sister. Oh God. Ryuta should be cackling with satisfaction. He's finally broken me to the point where I've taken a life. The two of them only stare at me, silently, as if frozen in time. Frozen in. I drop the pipe, but it lands soundlessly, like the world is a velvet muffler. What is this? I step towards Ryuta, but he doesn't budge. His eyes remain on the spot where I was. The room is still and silent, and miraculously peaceful, like a scene put on pause or a stage play in the middle of intermission. A shadow flits in the corner of my vision, immediately drawing my attention. Who's there? Nothing. Of course nothing. There is no longer anything. Simply emptiness. Because I am helpless, and there is nothing left for me. This is out of my control. I can do nothing more. Death after death, an endless cycle of suffering, living in a world that delights in breaking innocent souls. It's better to just give up and die. if I could fall to the ground right at this moment and just let myself rot. That would certainly be ideal. Or do I need to live? To lie down without a fight, or to set my revenge on the world? To make society resent the people who raised such a monster? Tantalizing thought. This is out of my control, and now in my control. And so I wake. Time has resumed. No, it never stopped at all. The girl's split corpse tumbles crookedly in her chair. If I bothered to look, I would probably see organs slithering out of her skull. I was really hoping that you just knocked her out. I breathed deeply despite cloying scent of iron, feeling refreshingly alive. You monster! Despite his numerous injuries, the boy writhes against the chair, screaming in a toxic concoction of fury and pain. Truly tragic scenario. But he is obnoxious and hardly influential. It would be better to dispose of him without hesitation. I reached down and grabbed the pipe, crushing it against his forehead with all the force I could muster. What the f***, Yama? Instant silence. I sighed quietly, flicking fragments of bone and blood off the pipe, feeling for the first time in total control of the situation. So, this is true strength. How I envy it. I turned my gaze to the man standing by the shattered teacher's desk. His face is utterly still, masked with years of long practice, but I can sense new wings of terror beating beneath his breast. It has probably been a long time since a man like him has felt fear, almost an entirely new sensation. I smile absently, a tingle of pride buried beneath my hollowness. This man, with a haggard face, beaten brow, shredded pupils, accustomed to chaos of the highest order, fears me. Who are you? Why do you ask? I see this man's calculations crumbling in his eyes. Clearly, this is a situation he has not expected. You're not Yama. Nonsense. There's no one else I could plausibly be. He's simply limited by his preconceived notions, the fool. I advanced toward him, raising my well-worn pipe. Let him burn. Let this whole world burn. Deserves nothing less. Wait! He throws up a hand, trembling with adrenaline, looking for a way to escape. He is such a brave man, and yet so cowardly. I'm waiting. You want something different, don't you? I stretch my sore muscles idly, paying little heed to the knife clenching tightly in the man's hands. An intelligent fellow. He's had it all this time, but even though he's drawn it, he knows better than to use it on me. What could you possibly mean? The man is still for a moment, his eyes flickering down to my open ribcage. But the knife stays at his side. Instead, he raises his unarmed hand, pointing across the room toward the broad window that eclipses the edge of the classroom. I know that look in your eyes. We're not so different, you and I. Oh? This seems like a perfectly acceptable moment to chuckle, but not even a smile crosses my lips. Intriguing. You want bloodshed. I can help with that. You will gain very little from killing me as opposed to letting me help you. Tilt my head, humming quietly. A sensible offer, but... I suddenly flash forward, holding my pipe with both hands. Ryuta reflectively swings his knife, but his actions move like mud to my eyes. I easily catch his blade against the pipe, and drive the leverage to rotate into his own chest. The knife sinks softly into his flesh. He stares at me, agape. You could not have been more wrong about what I want. Unfortunately for you. You! I jolt my grip, thrusting the knife deeper in. He gasped for breath with a gurgling sound, no doubt the result of blood flushing through his lungs. I released my hold, knowing the wound would be fatal, and stepped away. After a moment of deliberation, I decided to pick up Ryuta's pipe. A nice moment of irony. I stepped to the classroom window, my path littered with corpses. Jiro Ryuta, an unfortunate boy and an unfortunate girl. I draw myself to the window, regarding the peaceful sky without emotion. To see smoke cloud that sky, flecked with embers and ashes, I look forward to seeing that day. The new story shall begin here. I casually flicked the lock on the window and pushed it open with my pipe. I would have liked to crack the glass open like I cracked their skulls, but I have more important things to take care of. It's time for the city to remember. Bad end. Yep, of course I got the bad ending. Do I want to go back and get the good ending? How do I do that? Oh god, is Rui alive? Well done me. I did good. I'm trying to process all of this, because I know I did a lot in one sit down. I was really hoping when he hit her in the head, he just knocked her out, that he didn't kill her, because my goal would have been knock her out, because then I lose. But no, we killed her, and then we killed her brother, and I mean, in a sense, I guess Yama did lapse, as I had expected him to. But I do want to see what the good ending is supposed to look like, so I might go and look up a walkthrough for that, and go from there, because that was a bad ending. That was not an ending that I wanted, so some other time in the future, we'll go do that. The next thing I want to do is Detroit Become Human. I do want to do that. I'm going to pick out a scary game for Friday. I don't know what yet. I'll probably just go and do like little short one-off ones before I find like a series one that is going to take a while to finish. Game Jolt and I are still good friends. I love finding stuff on there. And I've been hearing good things about Itch.io. Haven't been on it yet. Heard a lot of good things about it. I'll look into it at some point. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on something you want me to do, let me know down in the comments. I'll take a look at them. But yeah, as always, remember to do something nice for a stranger today. If you have the option to knock somebody out instead of killing them, probably knock them out instead. If you're in some kind of weird situation like this, I go that route of knocking out versus killing. It's a little less messier. Still a little awkward to explain later. But yeah, just, you know what? Don't kill anybody at all. That'd be fantastic. Would be the more direct route. Not killing, not hurting. If you could do neither, that'd be fantastic. I'm just gonna go and attempt to process what just happened. Cause I wasn't ready for it. Now I have questions. What happened to Rui? Is Rui dead now too? Like, what? I mean, Yama ended up becoming the monster the police thought he was, so that was a really bad ending. I'm gonna go process. I'll see you guys later. Bye!